You know what's confusing? Animations. So let's get straight into it. To start off, let's create a brand new animation, just 121, go down here, select new animation, and let's go. So the first thing we're going to do for our new animation is we're going to go up to the name part, we're going to name our animation. So I'm going to call it Butts. So next we're going to choose the image or images. These are just going to be, the images used. So obviously, as usual, RPG Maker MV is going to have a whole ton of different default images you can choose from. So I'm going to go right to something like Darkness 1 and choose all of this. But before we choose it, let's do two things. Number one, let's count the amount of frames. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's going to be about 20 frames, minus 1, so that's 19 frames. Next, let's change a hue if we choose to do so, so we can just make it like green now, green darkness, and then we hit OK, and we're good to go. So now, here's how animations work, pretty much. You're going to set a certain amount of frames to occur, and you're going to customize each individual frame. So to do so, we'll first start off by choosing max frames, and setting it to 19, since we counted 19 individual things right here. Now, right here we have position. This could be center, feet, or head. This just chooses the relative position of the actual animation. It's pretty obvious and self-explanatory. However, keep in mind if you do choose screen, this is going to occur in the middle of the screen and not on a specific target. So if you wish to make some big, huge animation to occur, you choose screen. But if you want to make it so it's specifically used on an actual target, you choose head, center, or feet. So let's choose center and we're good to go. Now start customizing our animation. So to start off, let's just choose our frame 1, choose this guy right here, the first frame, the little animation image, right click, hit new, and now we have our new animation image right here to just go around and do stuff with. Now we're going to try to put it right in the center, but of course we can't do that. So what we're going to do instead is actually right click, hit edit, and manipulate the properties. So we'll set it so x is equal to 0, and y is equal to 0. So now the x and y is centered at 0, 0, and we're good to go. So now all we gotta do is do this for every single individual frame. We'll select frame 2, select the next image, do new, do edit, we'll go to X, we'll set it at 0, go to Y, set it at 0, we're good to go! Except, we're not gonna do this. Instead, we're gonna start focusing on these buttons right here, the magical buttons. Change target, just changes the target you're focusing on, whatever, that's cool. Paste last, just paste the last thing you placed on the previous frame. So if you're on frame 2, select paste last. And that's the same frame as frame 1. It's, yeah. But no. We're getting frame 2. Screw you, frame 2. And then we'll set max frame back to 19. Instead, what we're going to do is use this magical tween button right here. This is the, automatic, do all the magic for you button. Because what it does, it just takes one frame, takes another frame, mixes them together, and makes it so there's an entire new automatic sequence in between them. So we'll take frame 1, we place the first image right there. We can go to frame 19 and place the last image right there. So new, edit, X to 0, Y to 0, and now it's in the middle. Now if we do tween from 1 to 19 and hit OK, now we're going to have all the images automatically placed in order, so it just plays perfectly, just like that. That's simple, isn't it? Okay, so now let's learn all about all the other stuff. But before I go into anything else, let's first do a little quick step back and actually review what just happened. So, a very confusing thing about these little actions is the frames and cells. Frames refers to all these guys over here. Cells refer to the little square images in the middle. So if you just want to manipulate certain frames, you'd select the frames. If you want to limit yourself to certain cells, you'd select these specific cells. So for example, if we want to do it from frame 1 to 5, we'd just do 1 to 5. But if you want to make it so the cells only affect the first image in each individual frame, you do 1 to 1, or maybe 1 to 2, or maybe 1 to 3. It doesn't matter. I would personally recommend just keeping it 1 to 16, so that way you don't have to worry about any of this cell stuff, and you probably will never have to. Now, as you may also notice, we can also tween or automatically manipulate the pattern, X, Y, scale, rotation, mirror, opacity, and blend. What we did was do the pattern, which is the actual pattern from 1 to actual 19, which made it so it actually made an entire animation. But say, for example, we were going to frame 1, move this guy all the way right here, go to frame 19, move this guy all the way right here, well, and then we switch tween and set it so we did the same thing, but only we're affecting the X. Now it's going to automatically move the frames from one side to the other, just like this, so like that. That's another thing for you to do with tween. You just manipulate position, scale, whatever you like. So one more time, let's go to 1, let's edit it, make it so its scale is 100, go to 19, edit it, make it so it scales something like 300, so 300. Then we tween them together, hit OK. Now we're going to make it so at 1 it's really small, but then it gets bigger, 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 and then it gets huge. Yeah! So next is the batch option. This just lets you set a specific attribute to be a certain value from frames 1 to 19 and from cells 1 to 16 or whatever, you get it. So say for example, I don't know, we want to make it so frames 1 to 19 are all the same scale again. Just go to batch, go to frames 1 to 19, and we'll set scale to maybe something like 150, like that. So 150, hit OK, and now all these frames are going to be the exact same scale of 150. It's that simple. So if you ever revert like you're automatically tween back to normal, just use batch to automatically set each thing. Keep in mind that batch does not add values, it sets them. So if we set something like x to something like 10, it'd be setting all the x values to 10 instead of actually shifting them by 10. If you did want to shift x or y value, you'd use shift right here. Then you can shift like the x and y offsets of each individual frame. So if we shifted y down by maybe like 30 frames, as you can see, all these are going to shift down by 30. And if we did it again, it's going to shift it down by another 30 frames, just like that. So now it's even lower than before. And yeah, I guess that's it. The final thing to do is actually just manipulate the sound effect and flash timing. So for example, you just go up here, set it so a certain frame has a certain actual like sound effect and a flash. So let's go and look for something like right here. We'll make it so at this point, frame 9 right here, so frame 9, we'll play the sound effect gun 1 for no reason whatsoever. And we'll also make it so the target flashes white, or maybe they'll flash blue, for a duration of 4 frames, like that. So now, if we play our animation, he'll flash blue for that amount of time. It's that simple. Now, of course, this is a pretty linear animation, because all it does is just go from one frame to the very end and has some very miscellaneous properties that occur. But if you want to have, say, multiple different images, you can just go up here, add a second image, and that images will be added to the end right here. So we can just do like, on frame 1, we'll set it so this image right here is going to be put right here. And we'll set it so it's at 0, 0, so 0, 0. Then on frame 19, we'll go all the way to this guy right here and paste him right in the middle again. So edit, and we'll set him to 0, 0, like that. That's simple. And then we'll once again tween frames 1 to 19, and now we'll have the entire fire animation also. So bam, like that. It's a double feature thing occurring and stuff. But say, for example, for one last final example, we'll make it so that we want to make these flames a little bigger without affecting these green darkness stuff right here. What we do is, once again, see how like each individual frame is on cell 2. We can go to batch, frames 1 to 19, cells 2 to 2, and set it so the scale is maybe 200 this time. Now this will only affect the flames because they're all on cell 2, and make it so they're all scale of 200 this time. So yeah, there we go. Well, that's all for this video. If you enjoyed, give the video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe for more beginner's tutorials. If you have anything you want to learn about in beginner's tutorial, a general feature that you don't really understand, just feel free to comment in the comments below. And yeah, that's really all for now. Until next time, RPG Maker Tutorial end.